this is Captain Chaudhary. Today I'm going to talk about a very important subject called desertion. Desertion was discussed in section 191 to 193 in the earlier Merchant Shipping Act, and in the new Merchant Shipping Act it is discussed in section 98 with section 102, 103 and 104 also mentioning a few things about the desertion. First of all, it says that in section 98 it says that a person who is duly engaged on a ship will not remain absent from his duties. He will not refuse without any reasonable cause to proceed on the ship or remain absent from the ship. What is reasonable cause we will see afterwards. It is also required that the person will not desert the ship. It also says that a person who is duly engaged on the ship shall at any time within 24 hours of the sailing remain absent from the ship without leave. And this should not be done at any time, whether it is the start of the voyage or during the progress of the voyage. It is also stated that no seafarer will absent himself without sufficient cause, from his duties or from the ship without leave. So, seafarer shall not be absent from the ship or from his duties without sufficient cause. So, in the previous paragraph, we talked about reasonable cause or sufficient cause. So, let us understand what is the sufficient cause or what is that reasonable cause. So, it seems the seafarer, in case he absents himself from the ship, he needs to inform the master or shipping master or the seaman's welfare officer or the port health officer or ambassador or any other officer who is appointed in this respect by the central government that the ship is unseaworthy. Right? So the reasonable cause could be the vessel is unseaworthy, and because the vessel is unseaworthy, he cannot sail on the ship or he does not want to remain on the ship, would be considered as a valid reason so that the seafarer is not punished. When it is shown to the satisfaction of shipping master, that means when the shipping master is convinced that there is a seafarer who has deserted the ship or there is a seafarer who has absented himself from the ship without sufficient cause or without any leave, he will make a report and present the case to the Director General of Shipping. Director General of Shipping, upon learning this, might withhold his documents, that is identity documents, CDC, etc., for the time being or for the time that is stated in the direction that he gives. Or he might cancel or suspend the certificate of competency or certificate of proficiency which was awarded to the seafarer, provided that no withholding or cancellation or suspension of any certificate should be done unless a chance is given to the seafarer. Right? The seafarer has to be given a chance to say that why such cancellation or suspension should not be done with his document. So when a seafarer is presented in front of the court, like for desertion or absenting himself without leave, or for the offences against discipline, which we have discussed earlier. So the court, instead of sentencing him, in lieu of the sentencing, that sentencing means imprisoning him, in lieu of sentencing, may agree if the ship owner or the master so requires that he be conveyed on the ship. So then two options are there with the master agent or the ship owner. One option is he is sent back, and other one is he sails on the ship like a regular seafarer. So whatever extra expenses that have incurred in respect of the seafarer for doing all these formalities will be deducted from his wages which he has earned, or from the wages which will become due when he sails on the ship. Now let's talk about a few situations where a foreign country is involved. Now here is an Indian ship, Indian seafarer, but we are talking about the desertion at the commencement of the voyage or during the voyage, that means progress of the voyage, but he has deserted in a foreign country. Then master can get him arrested without procuring a warrant procuring the warrant is not necessary. He may simply be arrested and conveyed on board. But here they have said that a caution is to be observed that without due confirmation, without the proper notice, knowledge, etc., the person should not be by force arrested and conveyed on board. Section 102, a little interpretation is necessary about this section because it talks about a situation which is little amusing. It says that Indian vessel in foreign country, and there is a person who's engaged, a seafarer who's engaged in the foreign country, and apparently the ship comes to India and that person deserts, and after discovering that the person is deserted, you wait for 48 hours, and if he does not return in this 48 hours, you need to make a complaint, or you notify a person, an officer who is appointed by the central government in this behalf. Right? And reporting is not necessary if the person returns within 48 hours. Now this particular section needs interpretation, because if the seafarer that we are talking about is an Indian, so whether he joins in foreign country or he joins in India, he deserts in India, what difference it makes? So in my opinion, there is no difference. But let's analyze it further. If the seafarer is not an Indian, but he is allowed to be on Indian ship, because of the special condition which the central government has provided in respect of his certificate, etc. Okay, now what happens if a person deserts the ship in foreign country? We are talking about Indian ship, and we are talking about a seafarer deserting the Indian ship in foreign country. Of course, the report has to be logged down in the official logbook, and the entry will have to be certified by the ambassador in the foreign country. So once that entry has been made and it is certified by the ambassador, then copy of that would be legally approved. That means in the legal proceeding that copy holds value. So now this particular copy of the entry or the certification by the ambassador has to be given to the shipping master of the port where the seafarer was engaged. And now the shipping master can use that particular information in any legal proceedings. Section 104 is the documentary justification of the forfeiture of wages for desertion. The person who is forfeiting the wages, for him it is enough to show the two things so that the forfeiture of the wages is justified. Number one, the person was duly engaged on the ship or belonged to the ship, right? Number one. And number two, the person left the ship before the completion of the voyage or completion of the agreement. Sometimes the ship, when she comes back to India, the agreement is completed and the person was off the ship before the ship returned to India. So these two things are to be approved, and of course when the person deserted, the entry was made in the official logbook, duly certified wherever applicable. Now these two things are enough to show the justification of forfeiture of the wages. Now let us look at the other person who is affected, whose wages are forfeited. He has to of course show that he was duly engaged on the ship. He has to show the copy of the CDC, and then he has to prove that it was not his fault. He had sufficient cause to leave the ship or desert the ship, in case he wants that his wages are not forfeited. Section 105 is in respect of reimbursement of the expenses which are caused after the desertion. When a person deserts, there can be several kind of expenses. For example, we may have to lead the person, convey the person on board, or we have to pack him up or send him back to the home country, or there might be expenses involved in respect of recruiting another person on the ship, engaging another person on the ship. However, the necessary expenses which are caused in this process, they will be reimbursed from the property that is left behind by him or the wages which he has earned. And they would be reimbursed in the same manner as if the seafarer would use the money in case he was not booked for desertion, right? And this reimbursed money, this reimbursement of expenses, the money that is collected is given to the central government.